So John is our next speaker today. He's the he's the publicist project manager with the International Society for Performance Improvement, and is a very distinguished young gentleman because he's involved and is a member of our 2012 Leadership Academy. It's an honor and recognition to be part of that, so we congratulate you, John. He is sharing with us today how Twitter has changed his life, and I'm sure we could all learn a little bit about John. Thanks.
Hi, I'm John, and I'm here to tell you how Twitter saved my life. Not really, but maybe. 3 years ago, I moved 2,000 miles from California to Washington, D.C. to take my first job as an association professional. When I got to D.C., I knew I had a lot to learn. Not just professionally, but personally as well. I learned really quickly D.C. wasn't going to be a walk on the beach. I was going to have to learn things the hard way. And so, when I got to D.C., I didn't have a lot of friends. As much as I valued my coworkers, we weren't exactly the same age doing the same things after work. Frankly, I was getting pretty lonely at this point. So what did I do? For 10 months, I tried meeting new people through sports leagues, volunteering, and online meetup sites. I was faced with the same problem every time. It's awkward, it's weird, it's tense. Basically like being on a first date all the time. I thought about quitting my job and moving back to California. Ultimately, I decided to give it another year. As much as I appreciated California, I knew that DC was going to be the place for me. So I found this amazing thing called Twitter. It's the kind of place where everyone wants to get to know your name. A place full of wonderful people to meet. Basically, it's the world's biggest happy hour. And so what is Twitter? It's a free social networking site that allows users to send updates, known as tweets, from their cell phones, laptops, or computers. You post short messages about what you're doing, share links, and you connect to new people online. It's a great service. So how do you meet people? Well, one way is with a hashtag. The pound symbol on Twitter is called a hashtag. And people put them before keywords in their tweets in order to categorize them and make them searchable by other people. And so if you would like to connect with other association professionals while you're in DC or while you're in St. Louis, follow the ASA11 hashtag. When you get back to your office, join us for Association Chat on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And so I started following a lot of people on Twitter, and I kept seeing this hashtag, DC TweetUp. I finally found out that it's a happy hour in Twitter, or in DC, organized and promoted solely through Twitter. But the question was, how was I going to make this different from all the other events that I tried? Well, the great thing about Twitter is when you sign up online, you also include your Twitter handle. This makes it easier to connect both before and after the tweet up. A vital step that had been missing at all my other events. Isn't it always easier to walk into a room full of people you already know? And so I started going to some tweet ups, and I started meeting some really amazing people. And the more events that I went to, the more people I started to follow. And the more people I started to follow, the more events I went to. Eventually, I got to a point where I was overwhelmed with events to attend. A really nice change from my first year in DC. So what else is there besides a happy hour? Well, you can organize other events too. We started doing football on the mall. For 16 weeks, we organized flag football games on the National Mall, right there between the Washington Monument and the White House. Amazing spot. You know, these were anywhere from 3-on-3 to huge 12-on-12 games. But how does this work? Well, think about the last happy hour you went to. Maybe it was last night. And you start talking to one person, and then another person chimes in with their event, another person chimes in, and the conversation begins to grow virally. So what did I learn? I learned the real power of Twitter isn't just in connecting with people online. That's like collecting business cards. The real power is when you take it offline, gather with online friends, and start meeting some new people in the process. And I met amazing people. People who follow the same sports teams as me. People who went to my same college. People I would eventually call roommates. Even people I would eventually call to come help me move. And these people have added so much value to my life. I don't know where I would be without them. And so, awkward pause, because I can't remember what I was going to say. I asked a couple of them to share with me why they love Twitter so much. For Gary, it's allowed him to build relationships with people he would have never otherwise met. For Ashley, it's a chance to genuinely connect with people. For Valerie, it's how she stays in the know. So maybe Twitter didn't save my life, but it sure made it a whole lot more fun. Kept me from leaving DC in my association job. And it even kept me from moving back home with Mom, for which we're both pretty thankful. Thank you.